sir. Andrew Chamberlain. How are you? My
I'm good.
co-host.
I'm good. How are you, Elisa, my co-host? How are you? I'm loving. I have to say, I'm loving the springtime on down on the farm in Kansas. Look, we've got going on here. I love it. It's
You know what?
it's
This is
nice. It's
just one of
nice.
your very various versions of black that you have. So I appreciate you really coming out of your shell for spring.
Well, for listeners, obviously listeners don't know, it's quite a distinctly pink plaid that.
All right,
Yeah.
enough.
Oh.
I have something really I want to talk about. Sorry, was that the wrong tone? Was that the
Oh
wrong tone?
my God. Like we said before I came on air, we're not married, so we're not going to get divorced, but oh
So
my
I can't.
God. It's right.
Okay,
Ah, one more time. Go for it.
so I thought this would be perfect to bring up with you. I've been, I get all the inspirational quotes. I read all the professional self-help books. I am so tired of the big ideas. The big ideas. What I've come to realize is it's all about getting it done. And
Hmm.
before I was a strategic planning consultant and having built out my own approach, I used to think we don't need a strategic plan. We need to get bleep done.
All right.
And
Okay.
I guess I'm at a point in this world where I don't want any new philosophies or new ideas. What I want is the tools to execute. So I wanted to ask you, as we talk to boards and we talk to clients, and we can give them all the ideas, all the strategies, we can craft and architect all the solutions that they could possibly need.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
what do they really need to get from A to B to implement those great ideas, those philosophies? And I'm coming down to two things. I
Go
love
on.
buckets. I'm
Oh,
coming
here we
down to
go.
two
Here we go.
buckets.
Yeah. Yeah. Two
Time
buckets.
management,
Hmm.
time management, and follow through.
Uh,
I mean, is there anything else? I mean, yes, there's many other buckets, but
I,
I guess I'm a little disenfranchised because we give great solutions to people. I
yeah.
even work on implementation planning with them.
Hmm. As
And
do I.
and
Yeah.
then
Hmm.
seeing things through is not always the strength of nonprofit associations, of anyone, of any human, of any organization. How do
Yeah.
we focus on the implementation piece?
I think perspective is a big part of it. I think actually, if there were a third bucket, it would be perspective. I think what you've just those two quite critical issues actually. Time management, capacity probably
There
is
you go.
part of that piece as well. Time management within a distinctly limited capacity that we each have, I think is a big headache. But I
Yeah.
think the whole piece around perspective, you're right. We do give good solutions. We give excellent solutions. Where they fail to break down is when immediately people become swamped with business as usual because they failed to maintain the perspective of, well, what is business as usual when we've been going through that process, that planning process, coming up with all these great ideas. This is how by the way, it's just my interpretation, just one of a gazillion views of it. But, when we're doing the implementation planning, how many times have you sat there and said to someone, yeah, that's great. No, I love this. It looks beautiful. What about all the stuff that, we're already doing? Where's that fit within this piece?
Yeah.
And they lose perspective, I think, and then or they want, or maybe they forget, conveniently forget.
Motivation. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think having that, and I talk a lot about perspective when I talk in the governance context about saying, we can't keep responding to the lone voice, the vociferous one member, and I think that's everybody. We have to maintain our perspective about the bigger picture, as it were, the wider system in which the organization is functioning. But I think when we're planning, when we're creating our
I'm still
solutions.
listening. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, listeners won't be able to see this. People on video will be able to tell that basically Lisa's just turned her back on me. I presume you're
I'm
looking
looking at my
for.
wall of all these books, of The One Thing, of the 5 a.m. Club, of the Let Them, of the all these
See, I
books.
don't have any of those. I don't. Do you know what? I'll be honest. I've never. The
You've
only
never read
one.
a book?
No, no. I've read plenty of books, but I've never ever read any of these business self-help books. The one book I read, and probably because it's very short, was Lencioni's Five Dysfunctions of a Team.
Yes, yes, that's up here
But
somewhere.
but beyond that, I must admit, I don't read them. I don't see the value in them. They don't give me any. Uh, no, they don't give me any sort of inspiration.
Well,
But
and maybe I'm approaching them the wrong way. Maybe that is all they're good for, is inspiration. Because I read them and they all have great ideas, but it's the switch that has to flip in your individual mind or in your organizational mind to make change, to do something different.
you have to
And
want
that's
to
what
do it.
I'm,
You
you
have
have
to
to
want
want to do
change.
it.
And I
Correct.
think that's a big blocker. A lot of people talk a good game. A lot of people say, "Oh yeah, and you've seen it at board level. Why is it going to be any different at staff level, volunteer level? Why is it going to be any different? We talk a good game. Yeah, we totally want this. We're full of ambition. Really? Are you? Do you really want change, or do you want a quiet life? Because change is not quiet. Change is disruptive. Change is noisy. Change is about lots of people having lots of opinions about things and making sure that you hear all those opinions. So change is messy. And
Yeah.
when you're dealing with the day job and you've got all this business as usual, all the bits and pieces that your team is coming at you with, your board is coming at you with, volunteers, suppliers, vendors, partners, stakeholders,
What do you do it? None of that, that's always going to be true. What you
it
just
is always going to
described,
be true.
that
It is.
that
But you're,
storm is always going to be there.
yep.
And you use the word disruption. There's never, I mean, maybe it comes in cycles. We're not going to use the COVID word, but we're in a new phase of great disruption. And people are searching for answers. People are searching for solutions, for
Oh,
new
okay.
approaches.
Okay.
They're pretending to want change because they want stability, they want
Yeah.
sustainability.
Yeah.
And yet I'm wondering if this is possibly about doing less.
It is about doing less. It is 100% about doing less. Just a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I sat with a client with the board and walked them back from their and they were great ambitions, and I love them. And I said, look, I love what you want to achieve for this organization, but walk it back a wee bit. You're not going to achieve X, Y, and Z by 28, 29, 30 because you need to, unless you spend the next 2 to 3 years focusing on these distinct pieces of work. And actually, I'm looking to my left. You can't see it on the screen, but I've got my notes up on from that session because I'm right in the middle of writing the plan. And I've got in big bold letters, I'm going to go right back to Association Transformation Episode 1. Purposeful abandonment. I wrote in massive letters and big circle around it for them. And I think you're spot on. You're spot on. People absolutely want sustainability. They want stability. And I think we've been caught in the trap of thinking, well, the only way to um, add value to a member's experience of the association is to constantly be changing. Change is value, change is good. Actually, perhaps we are in that phase where stability is good. Stability is what I need from my professional body right now. Because you're absolutely right. I'm going to suggest we're in a far, I think we're maybe even on a more tumultuous roller coaster than we were a few years ago. And we're not getting off it anytime soon. So actually, being able to sort of maintain that perspective, being able, which is, the long-term objectives of the organization, recognizing our limitations, recognizing the need for stability now. Um, I think, those are the things that then will feed into more effective time management, more effective resource management. Because another thing that we're really not very good at when we're jumping from X to Y to Z to A to B to C, one of the things we're not good at is effective resource management. Resource efficiency is absolutely critical for anyone's success.
Well, especially at
Um,
this phase. And we talked about strategic thinking during times of disruption. And I just want to acknowledge for the association transformation family and community that you can make a choice to stabilize, to do
mhm,
less. This
mhm.
isn't putting your head in the sand. This is not fear-based thinking. but making the choice to pare down or to do fewer things better is is noble, is necessary,
Yeah.
is a path of survival, is a strategy for
Yeah.
success.
Yeah.
So, in this
Absolutely.
space where, between AI and hybrid versus live versus, all these things, everyone's still in the do more, add things to make people happy, expand the value proposition, be everything to everyone. And it comes up in almost every strategic planning engagement that I have that we cannot be everything to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
What is our mission?
Yeah.
What is our focus? And what is the next now that is necessary?
So if you take that example of the client I was working with a month, well, still am working with them, one of the questions I said to them was, right, okay, are we an international organization? Everyone's looking on the table, and actually, I was so pleased because one of the members of the team actually had really good data, had data, which was blowing my mind. I was like, oh, hang on, we're planning and we have some data as well. This is incredible. And they said, well, 20% of our membership is outside of the UK. All right, I said that's not an insignificant amount of members, 20%. Okay. So are we international or not? And they said, well, we don't know. We can't answer that question. It's like, okay, that's cool. So perhaps we make that a priority for the
What do they
next
want to be?
12, 18, 24 months is to work out, do we want to be? Can we? Should we be? If we're going to be, what does it look like? Don't say now, we're going to be international, we're going to be global, and we're going to launch this on March 1st, 2028. Be part of your strategy now is saying, well, actually, we're going to do the donkey work. We're going to work out. We're going to do the research, the
What?
market, the donkey work.
I'm sorry.
Don't
Can we have a
hard
translation
work. We're
moment?
going to do the hard work. We're going to do the hard work. We're going to do the hard yards. We're going to do the hard yards now, so that and if we integrate that piece into our as part of our strategic development over the next 2 to 3 years, we will realize our bigger goals in the next 3, 4, 5 years. But I think we often, and how many times have you sat there and said, look, guys, I know we're writing the plan, but we're not having to deliver it all right now. It's
Yeah.
and there seems to be this perception that if we publish it, then we've got to do it tomorrow. Otherwise, the members will, and again, perspective. The members won't say anything. The members will go at best. They'll say, "That's very nice, excellent, good to see you
Yeah.
doing something." And so I think there's this whole piece around sort of rationalizing and refocusing and understanding that strategy isn't always just the massive stuff. It's also doing the hard yards
Yes.
to get to be able to deliver the small stuff as well, the significant stuff.
And this brings us full circle to, my frustration with, the sale of new ideas,
Yeah.
the books, the philosophies, the all these things that people seek out in times of concern, times of uncertainty. And really it does come back down to your path to sustainability, to stabilization, to success is the donkey work.
I
It's
love
doing the work.
good use of
Did I
the
use
good
that
use of
right?
that. You did, and I won't have to bleep you out on this one either. Excellent. Good use of the
That's
good use of
great.
that.
I think
I
this
love
is
it.
the title of the episode. I mean, donkey work is your path to. Am I going to overuse it?
I
Is
think you are now. You're starting to overuse it just a little bit. I
a
think I
little
think
bit.
when you were talking, I think consolidation is critical. I think consolidation. We're not very good at consolidating what we're doing now before we then move on to add value on the next
Yeah,
piece. I think
yeah,
consolidating, rationalizing if we need to, consolidating what we're doing well, prioritizing based on resources and being resource efficient. I think
yeah.
are all fundamentals that people.
And you don't need new ideas and new
No,
strategies to do all that.
that's
You
just.
need a mission. You need to
No.
know what your purpose is and what direction is so that you can know what needs to stay and what needs to go. You also mentioned something very important that is more rare than it should be, and that's data.
Mm-hmm.
That's the tools and the metrics to make informed decisions about what stays, what goes, and what you focus on.
Absolutely. If a strategic objective today is we are going to spend the next 2 years pulling our data together, cleaning our data, rationalizing our data, making sure it is amazing so that we can then use
Two
maybe some.
years?
Hey, no, no, no. Come on now. It takes a long time. Right? Don't pretend that it's an easy job. Pulling your data together is not an easy job. It's not.
It's not. But
It's not.
I also,
But it's just an
I
example. It's just an example.
it
And it
becomes
might
an excuse. It becomes an excuse and
not
it
if it's part.
delays organizations from making decisions. You don't need perfect data to make decisions.
No, but my point is this. My point is this. All right, forget the time thing. You cottoned on there to a level of detail that really wasn't part of my point. My point was, if the strategic objective is consolidate our data, create a database that allows us to make well-informed, data-driven, evidence-led decisions, and that's what we're going to do. I'm going to next 12 months. That's our focus. That's our big piece where we're going to put all
Sexy,
our
but it's
money.
necessary.
Absolutely. Then that's an extreme, that's a valid priority. That's a valid strategic priority. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be every priority is we're gonna put a office on the moon, and we're gonna have offices everywhere, and we're gonna grow by a gazillion percent over the next 2 weeks. It's none of that is and none of that's any good anyway if we don't have the data.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's going to be my new theme for 2025, as crazy as it's all been. That sometimes there's only what we can control.
Yeah,
And there are going to be the circumstances outside of our control that we can
yeah.
put a lot of energy and effort into. But ultimately, our focus really should be on where we can work. Keep your nose to the grindstone. What'd you say? Do the hard yard? Is that what
Well, hang on. I thought that was one of your sayings. Do the hard yards.
I thought that was one of your sayings?
No, we don't use yards in the UK anymore. My God, metric system on some things.
All right. Do the main metric. Do the main.
Just do some hard work. Do some hard work.
Just do the donkey work.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's say it.
Do the
Shout it
donkey
from the
work.
rooftops.
Do the donkey work. There you go.
Okay, I love it. Can we get shirts made? Can this be an association transformation like bumper sticker?
Yeah, because another type of donkey is an ass. So yeah, let's do it. Let's have those pictures on our t-shirts.
Association transformation?
Oh, look at this. We're on fire. Ouch, you're burning me. Honestly, get away from that bright flame.
Well, I'm sorry to bring my kind of hodgepodge stream
No,
of
no.
consciousness discussion today, but I'm just every time I read, another inspirational quote or motivational book, or you read it and you're like, oh, this is really basic. This is a pretty straightforward thing. And they all are basic because nothing matters until you do them, until you
Uh,
make the change, you get the perspective, you flip the switch,
yeah.
and you execute.
And a lot of those theories account little for lack their own perspective on what a reader's reality is.
Yeah.
And I would much prefer to see listeners be able to articulate what they're doing and to be able to demonstrate that they're doing it well and that they're having the impact and that to be able to carry on realizing that impact, they're going to control the things they can control. They're going to consolidate the data and the information and the resources that they have available to them. Um, to underpin their membership with yes stability, yes sustainability, but again, even if it's just that one thing that you do exceptionally well and no one else does it, and that's the reason they come to you, do that. Stop
Yeah.
presuming that the only way we can add value to something is to keep piling it on, piling it on, piling it on, and then we have to get into the world of strategic, purposeful abandonment, which people are like, yeah, I'm so excited about this. And
If
it's like,
you're already there, you've already
yeah,
gone too far.
you've gone too
Right.
far. Yeah,
I
exactly,
think we need a
exactly.
12-step program. We need a 12-step program for doing the donkey work. I think.
When you like something, you really cotton onto it, and you really like you don't let go now, do you?
I
You're
am.
really
I've never
hooked now,
heard
aren't
this
you?
before. I've never heard this phrase before.
Are you sure? We've done 140 episodes, and I've never used
Can you
that
say it in
phrase.
American? Say it in American. Let me hear if it sounds familiar.
What? Like doing the donkey work, like that? Oh my God, you guys doing the donkey work, you guys.
I'm walking here. Yeah,
Hey, I'm
I
walking
know.
here, you donkey, you ass. Right, that type of thing. Yeah.
Right now we got to bleep some stuff out. All right. So this has me newly motivated to
Good.
not overthink, overanalyze, or search for solutions instead of, well, wait, search for problems instead of solutions. I don't know. Now I'm talking in circles. I got to focus on the donkey work. Simple, simple,
Yeah.
simple.
Don't go hunting for change. Don't go chasing change.
Yeah.
If it
Yeah.
needs to
Okay.
happen, it will happen. If it needs to happen, it will happen. If you want it to happen, you can make it happen, but don't go chasing it for the sake of it.
Well, and being still and doing less and stabilizing is an okay path. It's a choice
100%.
and it's an
100%.
okay choice. It's a valid choice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Because these are crazy times. These are crazy
Oh,
times.
tell me about it.
And I think we need to give people, a life raft of maybe the opposite of what they think they should be doing, which is more, different, 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 change, change, change.
Yeah.
That's not going to stabilize the your footing.
Not at
It'll
all.
make things more disrupted, more unsettled, more unstable. So,
Yeah.
okay, all right, I like this. I like where this is going. I know what I know what the title of this episode is going to be. That's for sure. Um,
Great. Excellent. Good. 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 If you listen, if
so
you get
I think we're
nothing
coming
else
up
out of
on
this.
one. What episode is this? I think we're coming up on 150 here, aren't we? That's pretty
Uh,
awesome.
I think we're another couple of months away, actually. What is this? 141? 40.
Oh, well,
This is 141, I think. So we got a couple more months,
all
I
right. Well, we're
think.
getting to a pretty big milestone. I'm excited.
We are. We
I'm
are.
excited.
Yeah, we are. I was going to say, are we doing something special for it? But
Yes, of course. I'll
do I
fill you
do I
in.
know
Don't
what that
worry.
do I
I'll
know
fill you
what
in on
that
it
is?
later. I'll fill you, and until then, until I fill you in and you know what the heck's
Okay.
going on, do your donkey work and put your members and your mission first.